We're back!
Guys, did my breath stink? I just had garlic for dinner.
Is that how I sound?
No, but that's how
That's how it works.
Right.
That's how it sounds when it's
right. Like when the aliens are choking a person, it's not how the alien sounds; it's how a choked human being sounds.
Welcome to the dialogue, people. It's been a while.
It's been too long.
It's been too long. But welcome back. You know, this is the place where movies are more than mindless entertainment. I'm Derek, and this is Andrew, and we are your hosts today on this show. We're your hosts every day on the show. Every day that you decide to watch.
Every day you decide to watch. Primarily once a week we'll come out with movie reviews for you.
Exactly. So today's movie is going to be Independence Day Resurgence. Mm-hmm. This movie takes place 20 years after the events of Independence Day, where aliens came and invaded the planet and then destroyed most of the major monuments in the world. Mm-hmm. But you know what? We fought back, and we declared our independence with one voice.
Amen.
And I'm not going to be able to do the speech as well as Bill Pullman did it, but I'm just going to throw it out there.
That's right.
But this movie takes place 20 years after that. You have a lot of the same characters. They're all grown up, some of them, and then some of them are returning cast. You find out a little bit of the details on what happened to people who aren't in this movie. And basically you have these aliens coming again, a second time. Mm-hmm. Hence the title.
Kind of like a resurgence, yeah.
Kind of like a resurgence.
Do I have to talk about this movie?
Yes. It's your job.
All right. So, I remarked right after watching it that it was fun. Now, what I mean by that is
right
that
frame it.
You come to this movie. It's a sequel. It's just heavy CGI and monsters as well as destruction. That kind of film. Mm-hmm. And you have certain expectations, and if you accept the film for what it is, it's a fun ride.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't necessarily bored with it, watching it. That being said, let's compare it to the first one a little bit, and you can help me out with this, because, I mean, I've seen the first one, but I saw it a little later in life, and just one time. But, so in the first one, one of the reasons why that movie's so beautiful, at least in my mind, is there are several touching moments in it where character, like, so there's not only the marriage of those characters, but then like the almost like a remarriage. It's like they're committing themselves together again.
Right. Yeah.
A really touching moment. There's substance to that movie and the characters.
Yeah.
In this movie, I'm just gonna say it. There's not a lot of substance to these characters. There's so many of them. And it seems like they're kind of there for plot reasons.
Yeah,
going in and out and conversing.
And the first movie did
they're throwing back to the first one.
Well, and the first movie had lots of characters in it too, but the way that it handled it was a lot better.
Yeah. So, barring the lack of substance, and as well, there really isn't a lot of mental stimulation to be had with this one, as far as, you know, themes and the stuff the movie's giving you. It's kind of patriotic, but I mean they try to do like 3 different speeches that are like the patriotic speech of the first one, and they crumble.
Short, yeah.
They crumble.
Let's just say, if I had to get motivated, I would not listen to any of the speeches from this movie.
Right. Well,
but I would
a good
listen
way to
to
look
the
at
first one. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if I was about to go into battle, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to go quietly into the night. Mm-hmm. These aliens are going to suck it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know
what
what you're saying,
deliver
Derek.
A full payload.
There's a
right up into the core of these aliens.
Right up into their core.
Right up into their core.
So in the very beginning of this movie, there's like a playback of the original speech.
Yeah,
that was one of the most epic points of the movie.
Right at the beginning. Watch the begining, and then you can leave.
Can I also say that I did enjoy the destruction scene? There's the destruction scene where the big ship comes in. Mm-hmm. I thought that was pretty cool, and there were some intense moments of flying in the debris.
Right.
Can I say that? Not necessarily more than mindless entertainment, which is what we strive for on this show. So unfortunately, it's going to get low marks for me.
Basically, the movie is not necessarily what I was expecting going into an Independence Day movie. Now, I will say this. I do try to give this movie, or I should say I did try to give this movie a chance. And I think it was about halfway through the movie I was like...
At what point was this? Try not to give away spoilers.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the specific point where I was like, wow, no. I think it was right after the main ship lands in this movie. Like, after, like, that whole thing, and they're like, yeah, it's, like, half the size of the planet, pretty much. I was like, no. You know, like, I'm not buying it.
There were a lot of things throughout the movie for me that threw me off the train. The train ride.
And I'm going to say I'm okay with there being some plot holes, inconsistencies, things like that. But when a lot of what this movie bases itself on is not consistent with the first movie, I'm like, wait, what? Like, so for instance, Dr. Oaken, or whatever his name is. You know, you're like, oh, I thought he died in the first one. And he's back in this one. So you're like, oh, I want some explanation. They don't really explain that. And the explanation that they do give for that will probably leave you kind of like, maybe I need to go back and see the first movie because that's not what I thought happened. Anyway, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that.
I thought that.
And then the other thing that happens is, in the first movie, I thought that the whole point of the first movie was they were destroying the major parts, the major cities in that movie, because they wanted to weaken the population and the resistance of the humans on Earth so that they could come in and invade with a task force and take over the planet. Now, in this movie, and this isn't really a spoiler because it's just kind of like the intent of the aliens, which you find out like right at the beginning of the movie, but this movie they're like, oh, they were trying to harvest the core of the Earth. Well, that doesn't really make sense when you watch the first movie because they fly into the mothership in the first movie and they're like, oh, all these aliens are coming to the planet to start an invasion force. And it's like, why are they getting on the planet if they're sucking out the core? And the planet's going to implode.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of inconsistencies all over the place like that. And there's more inconsistencies than that, but I'll leave it there. Just things like that that just were like throwing me off the ride. And I was like, wow, okay. I will say, there are moments in this movie I did have fun. But there's a lot of things too in it that like had me being like, took me to that place that I don't like to be, which is off the train. I paid good money to get on the train. I want to ride this sucker. You know what I'm saying?
I bought my ticket.
I paid for the 3D glasses.
We talked a little bit about this beforehand this time, and 5 almost seems like too much when I consider the fact that I want to get some deeper meaning from the films that I watch. I think that's really important. It's important to me.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm going to drop this one down to 4. I'm going to go 4.
I was waffling between a 4 and a 5. I told Andrew this before we reviewed this. I was like, dude, I don't know, 4 or 5.
Waffle.
And I'm going to go with a 4 too because you dropped it down to a 4, and I feel like in our conversations I've always been a little bit more negative than you.
I try. Yeah.
And so if you're going to the 4, I really feel like I need to go with a 4 on this one. And honestly, I'm not going to go back and see this movie.
I
probably
enjoy
won't see it again. But I did. There were moments that I had fun with it, so it's not total trash, but it's not good either. Yeah.
Let us know what you think. If you watched the movie, definitely let us know. If you thought it was better than what we presented it as.
Yeah.
Join the dialogue by subscribing and checking out our other videos and seeing what we got going on over there. And as always, join us next time on The Dialogue.